All right, question for Sunday morning from 1 Corinthians 13:3, where Paul says, if I give all my possessions to the poor, or give my body to be burned, the individual asks the question that some dead bodies were burned in the first century. Could this be a reference to that? Okay, so on the surface reading of this, I immediately assumed this was some kind of persecution. But then as I started reading commentators and those kinds of things, they all said that believers weren't persecuted in this way. If by your question you mean by this, Paul's basically saying, if I give everything, including at death, my body to be burned and not buried or something like that, as a connection to I give all my possessions to feed the poor, therefore I have nothing, not even a place for burial. Therefore, then I'm giving my body to be burned. That may be what's going on there. One other thing is the word "burned" there is also used for a lot of other purposes, and so one of the challenges is that Douglas Moo, who's my favorite commentator on the book of Romans, actually thinks that this is more an aspect of if I give my life over completely, in other words, not just all my possessions, but my body as well, that it's not even reference to something happening to the body, but more like an issue like saying, I gave all my possessions and I gave all the use of my body completely to God, but I do it without love, that it's completely lost. So I think Moo, I kind of tend to lean towards his understanding of these things as I read them, and if I'm not really sure, and I read other commentators and they seem consistent with him, that seemed to make a lot of sense, that it's not an issue of burned, but like this kind of a broader idea of I just give it my body completely, and whatever God wants to do with my physical body. But it does seem to be, from Moo's perspective, while Paul is still alive, not a post-death experience. And so, or even a death experience, that it seems to be a living experience, like almost like Romans 12, 1 and 2. I urge you, therefore, brethren, by the mercy of God, to present yourself a living sacrifice. And so this idea of basically not only your possessions, but even your body, to basically say, if I give my whole body to nothing but whatever God wants to use it for, to be used at His full discretion, to be completely used up or consumed by God, but I don't do it with love, then it's completely lost. So I don't know about the burned bodies of the first century and the possessions. That's an interesting question. I'll have to go back and do some more research on that. But Moo's take on it is that this is more this aspect. I give all my possessions and I give my body for full use of God's discretion for ministry. Anyway, y'all have a good week. We'll see you guys on Sunday morning.